I'm Michael Davy, owner of Michael Davy Theatrical Cosmetics and inventor of Water-Melon Appliance and Bald Cap Material. Water-Melon is a latex alternative. Anything you can do with latex, you can do with watermelon. Slush it in a mold, stipple it on your skin, or make bald caps with it. The really great thing about it, though, is that anything you make with watermelon is translucent, showing the natural skin color through it. And it can be applied with just alcohol. No adhesives. Today, we're going to show the basic steps involved in making a watermelon appliance. The process is so easy, it's almost ridiculous to make a video about it, but here goes. First, I recommend plaster as a molding material, because just like latex, watermelon is a dispersion, and works best when a porous mold can draw the moisture from the watermelon. Although watermelon can also be used in non-porous molds as well, like silicone or resin. However, for this, we recommend using our watermelon gelling agent to speed and even gelation of the material. Just like latex. Watermelon is used just like latex would be in a similar plaster mold. No special release is needed. When latex is poured into a plaster mold, the plaster draws the water from the latex, leaving the latex particles behind to congeal and form the solid rubber. Watermelon works the same way. Sometimes you may need to dampen the mold to start the draw if the mold is very dry. Just like a dry sponge, the plaster won't draw unless the mold is already damp, kind of like priming a pump. For flexible appliances, I recommend Water-Melon Soft. The soft grade is useful for making stretchy appliances, while the regular is good for firmer, hollow appliances that need to retain shape or bald caps. You will need a flat mold to pour the watermelon into. This one is one we use for our Scary Carry kit. Watermelon appliances are poured solid in a flat plate mold. A flat mold is necessary because the watermelon is poured solid and puddles in the bottom of the mold to dry. It can also be used in cavity two-part closed molds, but may require some special techniques like the use of the gelling agent or perhaps foaming it. We will discuss gelling watermelon a little bit later. Now you are ready to pour in your watermelon. Unlike latex, watermelon is poured solid, over the detail, to make a solid appliance. We make the appliances solid to translate the skin color through the appliance. In this way, there's no need of matching a makeup foundation to someone's skin color, greatly reducing the time and difficulty spent in application. Once the watermelon is poured, make a blending edge using a cotton swab. Keep this edge thin to help blend the appliance when applying. I like to make a leg to help peel the appliance out once dry, so I don't scratch up my mold. Once the mold is full of liquid, you need to level the mold so that the liquid doesn't puddle on one side or the other. Slush the mold gently to evenly coat the mold and to ensure no bubbles and an even distribution of material. Finally, monitor your mold for a brief period following the leveling to ensure that the material doesn't shift or run to one side or the other while you're not looking. Now the next step is the hardest. Forget about it. Walk away and let the watermelon dry until hard. No transfer paper, no squeegeeing or smearing, no waste, no back and forth press and place molding process, no freezing. Just let it dry, just like latex. It may still be white in the middle, but if it is solid, it can be removed from the mold. The drying time will depend on the thickness of the mold, but the time required is usually equivalent to latex. Once dry, powder the appliance, just like latex, so that it doesn't stick to itself during the removal. Then pick up an edge, or by the leg if you made one, and peel it up, freeing the edge as you go from the inside out. Avoid letting edges roll onto themselves, resulting in a folded edge. The thinner the edge, the better the application will blend. Once removed, powder the other side. Note the freshly pulled appliance on the left and the completely dry appliance on the right. The appliance must be completely dry to translate skin color through the appliance without makeup. The appliances will dry on their own, but sometimes it helps to place the still whitish appliance in the sun, or as we do, in a jerky dehydrator for a while. Again, how long will depend on the thickness, but the temperature should be on the lowest setting. For thicker, larger appliances, or for appliances made in a non-porous mold like silicone or plastic, we have a gelling agent you can add to the Water-Melon Liquid before pouring. Chemically gelling the material is beneficial when you need to make a large number of appliances quickly, or if the appliance may be too thick to allow the watermelon to dry on its own. Just like latex, watermelon will not dry easily when poured solid in thick areas, so adding the gelling agent allows it to gel evenly throughout the appliance, allowing for faster mold turnaround, freeing up the mold so that you can pour another one quickly. The gelling agent is sodium silicofluoride. It's the same gelling agent used for foam latex. The mechanism that we use to gel the watermelon is the same as for latex. In latex, we gel it by dropping the pH to a point where the latex particles congeal. This is the same thing that happens to watermelon when the pH drops as well. So, to ensure proper dispersion, we refrigerate the gelling agent, which is a salt, and this slows the gelling action enough to allow an even dispersal of the material before it begins gelling it. Be sure to wash your hands after using the gelling agent. To ensure proper dispersion, we refrigerate the gelling agent, which is a salt, and this slows the gelling action enough to allow an even dispersal of the material before it begins gelling it. Be sure to wash your hands after using the gelling agent. To demonstrate this, we are using a larger mold. This one is a mold we use to make the revulsion appliance. The revulsion appliance has deep undercuts and thick margins around the edge of the wound. This appliance would take days to dry enough to peel out of the mold on its own, so using the gelling agent would benefit this appliance greatly. Through experience, we know that this appliance uses about 3 ounces of material, so First, we pour about 3 ounces of watermelon soft into a 5-ounce deli cup, leaving room to stir. Then, while stirring vigorously, we add about 15 drops of gelling agent slowly, so that the gelling agent does not shock the watermelon, dropping the pH too fast and clumping the watermelon. You can mix smaller amounts, so adjust the mix ratio to suit your needs. Generally, the more gelling agent you add, the quicker the watermelon will gel. From this point on, the process is just like the previous segment. Immediately pour the activated mixture into the mold. For this one, we pour the liquid from the edge, allowing it to flow towards the middle. Only pour enough in to cover the detail. Then, using a spatula or cotton swab, we brush the material up the edge of the mold to make a flange or blending edge. I like to make a leg to help peel the appliance out once dry, so I don't scratch up my mold. This edge will be later blended in with alcohol when it's applied. Keep it thin to allow ease of blending. Once the mold is full of liquid, you need to level the mold so that the liquid doesn't puddle on one side or the other. Slush the mold gently to evenly coat the mold and to ensure no bubbles and an even distribution of material. Finally, monitor your mold for a brief period following the leveling to ensure that the material doesn't shift or run to one side or the other while you're not looking. Gelation should take place within an hour or so and should be removable once it gains strength. When you are ready to peel it out, start with the leg and peel the edge free first, going completely around the mold as you work your way towards the middle. Watch for undercuts as you remove the piece from the mold. Once removed, powder and place the appliance in the dehydrator. Usually for larger appliances, you will need to use a dehydrator. Otherwise, it may take quite a while for the thicker areas to go clear on their own. Be sure to keep the temperature low and don't bake the appliance, as the higher heat will only make the moisture in the appliance steam up and bubble. Making Water-Melon appliances are ridiculously easy for both the novice makeup enthusiast or professional on-set makeup artist. In fact, in the early days of makeup, this open-face slush technique was the standard method of making rubber pieces. There are no complex molding processes involved, no transfer paper or expensive silicone molds, and no sticky glues used. Water-Melon is clearer than most appliance-grade silicones and two-part silicone construction putties, which usually require tinting or coloration. And since Water-Melon appliances are made without any adhesive, they can be removed without any remover, making them ideal for make-and-take makeup where you make someone up and send them off, where removal is left to the wearer at home. Also, Water-Melon appliances can be made with greater dimension than press-on sticker-type pieces because they use no paper, which means that they can create more dramatic effects than can appliances made with glues and pastes, which flatten out on storage. Being translucent, Water-Melon appliances have a realistic appearance in real-life situations, unlike opaque latex rubber appliances covered with makeup, which usually don't even match the actor's skin color anyway. Plus, Water-Melon appliances can be easily stored loose in a box or makeup kit. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about making appliances with Water-Melon. For more information, call me at 1-888-225-7026 or visit us online at www.michaeldavy.com to see the entire selection of pre-made Water-Melon appliances.